my highest production is 98 homes. As a single agent, close 98 homes. I don't know who else so far, like no agent on my team be able to do that with all the support, right? But that's not a human life. One day, miraculously on Sunday, I remember I don't have open house, I don't have showing. It's a nice, beautiful day like today. So I told my youngest one, I said, why don't we, mommy, take you to the zoo or something? My youngest one don't even want to go to the zoo with me. I think at the time it's 3 or 4 years old. It's a very sad story that I said, why? And then he said, it's just weird because it's daddy take me to the zoo. So that really still today very sad.
Everyone, Shaune Corbett here, Real Estate Success DFW, and I've got a special guest. I've got Gloria Lou with me. How are you, Gloria?
Doing great. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Um,
the opportunity. Appreciate it.
I had to work hard to get this one together because she is really successful. She sells a ton of real estate. I don't know how many agents you know, and she's very modest. I've sold over 2,000 homes, but I would put her in a very special category. And not all of us have the ability to do it, and we certainly don't have the ability to do it by ourselves. So Gloria and I are going to talk a lot about several things. One, we're going to talk about leads versus appointments. We're going to talk about inside associate versus a buyer agent. And there's some subtle differences on the way those things work. And most of you probably don't even know what an ISA is and how it can help you in your business. And then we're going to talk about systems versus just a general team that most agencies set up. They set up teams, they got buyers on one side, listers, sellers on the other side, and there's no system in place. Everybody just runs like the Wild West, and then you end up with a lot of chaos and very little profit. So we're going to talk about some high level things just like that. But Gloria, I always like to start with, why in the world are you selling real estate?
Thank you. Thank you for that intro. Well, I guess nobody get into real estate with a vision of selling real estate, right? So my story is probably very different from a lot of people because I was a international student. I came from China in 95, went to graduate school for economics. So, and then after I got my master degree, I went through the normal track, find a real job, and then I worked in corporate America for about 12 years in St. Louis. And then, of course, at the time, as a person with Chinese background, you always want to go to the better school, the best grade, the most degree. So at the time, I went to WashU, get my executive MBA. So from that perspective, I guess it's enhanced my ability to be able to treat real estate as a business even more. So after that, I went through during the day, I go to work. Evenings and weekend, I probably get a graduate school finished. And then I stumble into real estate investment. At the time, there's no Zillow, no Realtor.com, no Google. So I watched an infomercial about investment in real estate one day on a Sunday, I think, I remember. So I said, okay, well, on the infomercial, they said, oh, these people that be able to make tons of money in real estate. And then I said, well, that seems like very easy. If I go to that class, everything I know today or accomplish, even today I'm in coaching program. Throughout my entire career, I learned everything through formal education. Like I'm either in school or in coaching.
A lot of theory, a lot of, this is the way it should be done, but you got to get
Exactly.
hands on, right?
Exactly. So I started as a real estate investor while I was in corporate. So here's 2008 comes. Everything was nice and rosy, right? And here's 2008 comes. At that time, my company is a recession. So my corporate job was not, mine was stable, but there's a lot of layoffs and stuff. A lot of realtor, I remember at the time, the company that I worked for hiring inside sales, and then inside sales were realtors that in their previous life was realtors, but 2008 comes in, nothing sells. So, but I did something non-traditional. At the time, I just see as an investor, I saw all the opportunities out there. And then I know how to do it. I feel like there's tons of opportunity there. So I just ends up quit my job. I cannot wait anymore. So I quit my job, didn't wait for the severance pay. So I think that's looking back, my career, my life is that's professionally, that's the first not first ever, but the first wrong direction per traditional people's thinking that I took. Most people worried at the time about losing the job, but for me, I actually feel like I was compelled to quit my corporate job. After I quit, my first thought is to go become a real estate investor. Because I continue to be a real estate investor. But when I go talk to a lender, the lender said, no, we do not lending because everything lending frozen. So we do not lending to investor anymore. I don't want to do the same thing as what I did before, go back to the corporate world. And I remembered at the time, I could either choose to stay home. I had about 60, 70 rental units already at the time. So I'm always an implementer. I went to a real estate training class. I learned, I just do it, right? So at the time, I have 60, 70 units. And then income wise, I'm okay, but I'm not willing to just do the same thing, just keep the same portfolio and doing the same thing. So I had remembered I had my real estate broker license because 2008 comes, my at the time a broker lost business. He went bankruptcy. So I was forced to go get my own broker license. I got my real estate license in 2003 for the benefits of my investment. But I wasn't really selling houses for other people because I don't like the idea of here's a little house here and there doing part-time. I'm the type of person, if I'm doing anything, I want to do it right. So my real estate my realtor license is mainly for my investment. So 2008 comes in, my broker went out of business. And then at the time, I have not quit yet. 2009, I quit my corporate job. So I got my real estate broker license because I still, at the time, not 100% commit to be a realtor because I was still working full time for another few months. So 2009, when I quit my corporate job, and I cannot get finance for continue become an investor. So I said, okay, I remember I have a license of a real estate broker. Why don't I buy my last property at the time? So I bought my office condo suite. I opened the door, GL International Realty. I become an independent broker, and I was myself as a single agent. So that's how I started as a real estate agent and broker.
You were talking about you got your real estate license, you got your broker's license, and then you opened up your own brokerage.
I opened up my own brokerage, but just like a lot of other small independent agent, I do not know what to do, right?
Sure.
I was handing my license actually from 2003 to 2008. My license was with also an independent brokerage, but he has about 10 plus agent. At one point of time, it seems like doing a lot of deals. However, he doesn't teach me anything. He's just, he teach me how to fill out forms, split 60/40. I remember with me. And then that's it. He didn't give me any business. I was an investor. I wasn't having any business but myself. So,
That's funny, Gloria. Think about that, right? You're a broker and you've got agents working for you, and you're taking 40% of their money and not offering them anything in return, and you go bankrupt.
yeah. And then he went bankrupt.
It doesn't matter the split. You got to have something more than just a good split and not even offering anything. He doesn't have any expenses.
No, if I go to his office, I guess he has an office in a strip mall. If I want to print in his office, I guess I could print. I remember at the time, maybe he also even charged like 10 cents a sheet or whatever. So I don't go to the office because I work at home and I also have a corporate job, right? So, and I only do deals for myself. So yeah. So anyway, I didn't learn anything. When I had my own brokerage, 2009, the only thing I did is I bought a office condo, and then I had my license. So I have to start doing business. But when I start doing business, I was doing business the same way that I thought other realtors was doing. So it's basically trade money and treat time for money, right?
Yeah.
So I work 7 days a week. I'm a hard work. I have to give myself that. I do have very strong work ethics. So otherwise, I wouldn't be a landlord for this, that many units. So I work every day, 7 days a week, and then morning to well, since I wake up until I go to bed. So at the time, my kids are young. Like I have a 1 year old or 3 year old. When my first thought become a realtor, I naively thinking, become a realtor, you would have all the time. Like before, I was working in corporate, I have to go to the office 9 to 5. But when I go to my babies, whatever, my daycare at the time, my oldest one was in a daycare, and then the volunteer people, the parents teacher conference, all the realtors are go there volunteer, right? And then I saw them drive nice car, and it seems like it's just life is just good. So when I become a single agent realtor, I thought I would have all the time. Ironically speaking, of course, I work all the time. At the time is a bad real estate market, but I find a way to work a little differently. I recruited a lot of what I call lifestyle investors that they otherwise have corporate job. They're not in real estate business, but now they also see opportunity, but they don't know what to do. So as a person with investment background, so that's my niche. But I end up have to do a lot of driving, predominantly working on the buyer side, and then selling I remember my first year, my average sale was 75,000. So I did a lot of transactions, but I also do not know how to do it better, right? And then so I just keep doing it until I become as a single agent. My highest production is 98 homes. As a single agent, close 98 homes. I don't know who else so far. Like no agent on my team be able to do that with all the support, right? So, but that's not a human life. Like a few days into it, a few years into it, or one day, miraculously on Sunday, I remember I don't have open house, I don't have showing. It's a nice, beautiful day like today. So I told my youngest one, I said, why don't we, mommy, take you to the zoo or something? My youngest one don't even want to go to the zoo with me. I think at the time it's 3 or 4 years old. It's a very sad story that I said, why? And then he said, it's just weird because it's daddy take me to the zoo. So that really still today very sad, right? So I was thinking, well, there got to be a better way to do this, right? It's definitely not the outcome. I want to get into real estate, trying to be have a better life with my spend more time with family, right? And then because you saw all these realtors that be able to participate in school events and all this other stuff. But when my younger one, I told that story. Always remember that story. I said that's not the reason I get into real estate. So I start from there on. I know there got to be a better way, and so I went into coaching. And then I know that I need to build a team, and so that's when I started. Like I feel like that's my second turn. Is that instead of when economy was not doing good, everybody quit their job, right? And then realtors are looking for different job. Everybody got laid off, and then realtor looking for different job. Me, I was just doing things different. I quit. I become a realtor. So here I was a when I sell 98 homes, actually, I did have all the brokers that I can name come to my office. They either want to recruit me into their brokerage or they want to change my broker name into their broker name, right? They become a franchise. But personally, I really think that ultimately I need to have a team. I need to have a business. My business experience, so I went to conferences, right? My business background really drive me into it. When I went to conference, I went to Craig Proctor coaching, and then basically that system. When I first time went to conference, I immediately feel like it makes sense because it's actually teach average realtor how to build a team. and then that make total sense to me. Is in my back business world, in the big corporation. I worked 20 years in corporate America. So in the big corporation, we always have marketing department. We also have sales department. We have customer service, logistics, productions, and everything. So that's why big business can grow bigger. Smaller business, like your doctor's office, your attorney's office, and then no successful a business that they would have one person doing everything. But on the contrary, the realtor industry, successful agent, you're just doing more stuff, right? You just spend more hours. Then you're still your own like marketing department, sales department, customer service. You put sign in the yard, put lockbox on the door, and then running. So you're still like one person for everything. One person cannot be good at everything. And then even you're good at everything, you may not like to do every part in a real estate transaction. So as a result, I went to the conference. I feel like, this makes sense. It's just no brainer. So I enrolled in coaching. Since then, I've been in various coaching program for all these years, for the last 15 years as a full-time agent until today.
Okay. Well, I love all that. And I think you're right. I think it's a disservice, I think, to buyers and sellers when an agent is doing everything else, right? I'm representing a seller, I'm selling their home, and I'm also running around showing houses the same time I'm getting contracts in on their house. All of a
Absolutely.
sudden you're losing ground and you're not having good quality conversations because you're always chasing everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. At the end of my single agent career, I really like when I sell 98 homes, that last couple of years, I have until the last year, really prompt me is that there's no way. I think I'm shortchanging my seller. I wasn't service my clients as well because every day I was showing houses. I'm glad it's not the rush, like everybody bidding top dollar time, because otherwise, every day I was showing, every day I'm writing contract, but I'm showing during the day, writing contract in the evening, and then I have to rely on portals or whatever, trying to get my clients to call me. They can themselves go online to receive my multiple listing service direct mail. Like today, fast forward today, my buyer agent, we do not even send automatic emails because we want buyer agent to handpick otherwise there's no difference from Zillow, right? Zillow send them automatic emails and you cannot differentiate yourself if you just set up a portal on the MLS from the other agent who set up a portal. But back then, when I was a single agent, I was forced to set up a portal because I don't have time and then send properties to people. And then I don't have time to call on every showing asking for feedback once it's listed. So yes, you're 100% correct. You're really shortchange your clients when you're a single agent, unless you're not very good. Unless you're just do 4 or 5 homes a year, then you have all the time to serve. But once you grow your business for that volume, for like 40 homes, 30 homes or plus,
Yeah.
and then you don't even have the right amount of time allocated to each individual.
Well, 4 to 5 homes a year is not a business. That's a hobby. So if you're
Correct,
going to
but that's
sell
the
homes,
industry average, right?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly. Right. I mean, and 97% of agents are unfortunately in a hobby business and
yeah,
they make less than $150,000 GCI a year, which sounds like a lot, but that's before you take out all of your expenses.
yeah.
It's not a livable, opportunity. And you're a 1099, it's not a W-2 150.
Right,
So,
right.
employers take out all the expenses and still pay you 150 and you only have the tax. But
Yeah,
at 150, 1099, you still got to take all your expenses out and pay your higher tax, at the end of the day. But I want to talk about one aspect. So most brokerages have systems and they try to recruit through leads. Think 9 out of 10 brokerages think that's the leading thing that every agent wants. They want to show up. They all assume they're going to have a CRM. They all assume they're going to have support or a broker to call if there's issues. That's kind of like the baseline. But to attract agents, they say, well, we're going to give you 20 leads a month, and they're great leads. They're going to convert all this type of
yeah.
stuff. And, Gloria, I know you specifically think that it's not something that's easily convertible because most leads are not highly convertible. Instead, the objective is to get appointments. Appointments are measurable things that we can determine success. Leads, I could get 1,000 leads a month and only sell one house a month. But
Yes.
if I got 20 appointments a month or more, I would expect to at least maybe turn, I know you and I have a business that should turn 50%, but even 25%, at least you have some measurable thing. So talk to me about leads versus appointments and what the difference is.
Absolutely. You're right on the key. We are the broker. So right now we are independent brokerage, your home sold guarantee realty. My team, our business, I always feel like in my mind that the reason we exist, besides serving buyers and sellers, and as a business, as a realty business, we are the brokerage that we provide appointment for to our agent, right? And then we're saying that I always feels like a traditional realtor business does not have any system, seems like in place. You get your license, you just work all the time, and then hopefully you convert one client at a time, and then you cannot scale, you cannot have a life. So back to your leads and an appointment thing. Our business, we provide on our team, we provide appointment to buyer agent and seller agent. And go back to my corporate life, if you really think, if you, as a salesperson going into any business, a, say if a corporate, right, my corporate company, they were hiring sales, and then a new hire, a new sales come into the business, a director will sit down with you, said, okay, good, welcome on board, and this is your territory, like you're in charge of this area, and these are the accounts that you're going to be in charge of. So they've already gave you business, right? And these are the accounts that you're going to call on, maintain your business. Of course, if you're salespeople, you're trying to make sure the existing account sell more, or you're going to develop more business, more account within your territory. But they're setting you up for success. You are at least have something you can work with. And then if we are coming expanded to realtor industry, we need to for us to provide, if you really think selling is a process, we have lead generation. So that's a marketing issue, right? And once you generate the leads, on our team, we have inside sales focusing on converting these leads into an appointment. This is a full-time person, specialized job. And then after you convert into an appointment, then you give the appointment to the agent for them to convert the appointment into a client. That's another specialty, right? So on my team, if I ask my agent, outside sales agent, to see who want to sit in the office calling these 28,000 leads that we have in our CRM and then convert them, because even your individual agent, you go out, you generate the business, Zillow, you buy some Zillow leads. Zillow sends you the leads, and then you call them. Finally, you book appointment with one of them, and then you go show them houses, and then you convert another one. You get too busy. How about those 98% of those people that they're thinking they're not moving to next year, or they're not moving until later part of the year, 6 months later, or in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years after their kids go out of high school? You just waste them, right? Because later on you're too busy, you're working on today's business, and you do not have time to follow up the others. So I think leads is, if any broker give you the leads, they're trying to say, okay, you as an agent have to wear multiple hats. You have to be inside sales agent and outside sales agent. If you yourself do not have assistant, you also have to be the transaction coordinator. So you still have to. The only thing you are short to do is the marketing side. But the marketing side, you have to rely on the broker very good on marketing. But the broker may or may not be good on marketing. The broker may not give you good leads. They may give, I remember for 5 years, I was in, because when I was as a single agent, I sell a lot of homes. I attract all the brokerage come over recruiting me. So I went to a franchise broker for 5 years. And then during that time, they do not give me a lot of good leads. frankly, they said they're going to give me leads, but because my production is high, so I guess their good leads first go to a junior agent that they split higher with the brokerage. And then only when nobody else in the brokerage uh, will take their leads. They will give me that leads. That leads is only have an email. There's no phone number,
Yeah.
or whatever, or far away that we cannot even reach. So none of the leads I can use. But so you give me that leads, that's a leads that I cannot turn into business. Thank God I have my own lead generation thing. I have my own system to convert them because I pay additional money outside for more expensive coaching. So as a result, I think to answer your question, the leads is just if you are yourself, you're a single agent, you need to split your time and then 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day, or if depends on how many hours you have left to dedicate into that inside sales function. But on my team, we do a lot of transactions. So our agent need to focus on, like yesterday, I was for because I have some agent on vacation very soon. So my listing ends up going into one person because he happened to have calendar open. So on our team, my job as an agent, right, as a broker, not only I need to serve the clients, my customer is my agent. I want to make sure my agent, every beginning of the year, my agent tell me how much money they want to make. And then I would be able to calculate, okay, how many appointment to hit your income goal, how many appointment I need to give it to you. Only the appointment count, right? I cannot say how many leads I give it to you, but if I give you the leads, you're not very good on converting the leads into appointment. It's still a wash, or you're not very good on follow up with the leads. So I don't give my agent the leads because it's wasting the leads because outside agent only focus on their today business,
Yeah,
right?
you weren't saying this, Gloria, but I think one of the main differences is there's a different component between, and you said this, but I'm going to clearing it up a little bit. Inside sales associate is converting anything that they can that comes in, right? And usually through some type of reverse prospecting, which is important. We're all over here trying to chase and call people we don't know, like, or trust, and we don't have anything to offer outside of I'm just going to be an agent for you. The inside sales associate is calling people because you made them an offer. We're able to, guarantee the sell. We're able to buy your home if you buy our home. And those are sale propositions that they can start from. And their job is to convert from the initial call if they're open to having a meeting and letting us present something to them, right?
Right,
And at that point, now that moves from ISA to the actual sales agent, and their job is to explain all the benefits. And those are two
right.
different jobs.
Two
So,
different jobs.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an important distinction that you just want to have someone that focuses on all the people that are coming in, that they make the conversion and they set appointments. And appointments are supposed to be about a 50-50 on conversion, ideally. And then from there, you can easily work backwards. How many appointments do you need to achieve what you want to make per month, which is what you want to make per year? And
yeah,
it all is very mathematical and concise. And agents typically have highs and lows,
yeah,
make lots of money right now. I better save that money because I don't know if I'm going to get paid for 4 months. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
99% of agents, to be frank.
Correct.
But if you have consistent supply of opportunities and you have a consistent track record of doing the same amount of appointments every single week, you know what your income is going to be.
Exactly. It's also good for team management, honestly, because then you would be able to, like I said, I have an agent that's going to go on vacation next week. So he does not want to hear whatever he has is already handful. And then he doesn't want to take on new appointment. But I know that after a week of vacation, he come back. I need to load his calendar with appointment so that because the appointment you go on this month is your business next month. So you always have to fill your pipeline, but nice to have a broker that or business that a team that be able to
Turn on
watch
and off.
exactly to watch for you, right? Otherwise, if you don't have a supply come, you have to yourself to have to go do all the marketing,
Well,
generate.
just one thought I've heard, because I've heard this before. When you're estimating, let's say you want to make, 300,000 a year or whatever the number is, we'll work backwards. You should account for 3 to 4 weeks of not working.
Yes.
And most of us assume every week I'm going to work 10 appointments a week, no matter what. Well, you got to build in some time off and still achieve your goal. Because if you don't, you're going to burn out.
Exactly, exactly. And if you're a single agent, you also have to work on what percentage of your time that you are planning to work in your business versus on your business,
Yeah.
right? Because honestly, the last 15 years, the marketing has changed so much, the venue has changed so much, the message changed. So you also have to continue learning. But during the time that you're learning, you're not doing the business. You're not necessarily always going to have 12 hours a day that working in your business. Otherwise, you're always doing the same amount of business. You have to learn, have to implement the system and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Let's
proportion.
go to I got one other thing I really kind of want to talk about. We've talked about teams and you used it in language that most agents understand. And that's where as I grow and I've done it, I've had a brokerage for 10 years. I had agents working for me. And for me, I kind of treated everyone as a team together. I had buyers, buyer agents and seller agents, and they would kind of silo and do specific tasks within that space, which was great. It allowed me to leverage, but you can leverage much greater if you start utilizing certain systems. But most teams operate that way, but that still means that that buyer agent is still handling all the buyer agent aspects. And that's not a system. That's them being an independent agent, taking care of the buyer from start to finish.
Correct.
So I know that a real big part of you being able to scale, and again, most agents don't know agents that have sold more than 2,000 homes. And you can't do it, without proper systems in place to do it. So I wanted to kind of separate a little bit between the generic team aspect and what systems look like for agents that want to sell more homes and work less.
Okay. On my team,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So on my team, all the lead generation are centralized. So as a broker, we pay our team leader, I pay for all the marketing. And then I decide on what marketing message we're going to use. That need me to go out, continue learning. And then after that, if the leads coming in, we have inside sales. Right now, I'm training one new inside sales agent that converting the leads into an appointment. So we have our specific dialogue to use, script and dialogue to use. If before I have an inside sales, I was myself inside sales, but once I have more leads that I cannot handle, I start hiring inside sales, and then to convert the leads. And then after that, we book appointment. Then the appointment was handed to the agent. So when we talk to the agent, so we say, okay, Lucy, do you have time tomorrow afternoon at 3:30? We have a buyer going to come to the office. Majority of the agents do not have any problem to start from their business to start from the point that they meet with clients. But the issue for most of the agents, I find, they don't have people to meet, right? So on our team, we solve that problem. And then we also train our agent to be very good. We give them presentations and dialogues and objection handlings. And so they have to be trained to convert that person that they meet face to face into a signed agreement so that we can serve them. We're not the team that, oh, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of houses without any commitment from the buyer. And then we're going to, our agent's job meeting with that buyer seller is to convert that appointment into a signed agreement so that we can serve them, right? And after they sign agreement, and then of course the agent take care of them, but we remove on the buyer side. Of course they show houses, they find homes for them. Once it's get under contract on our team, we provide transaction coordinators. So they're the one that taking care of paperwork, sending document to lender, sending document to title company, because those are non logistic stuff like the customer service department in the corporation, right? So we as a team, we provide those. On the listing side, once the listing is signed, the listing agent only need to focus on negotiating the deal, serving the clients, asking for feedbacks, and then hosting open house, changing marketing to think what should I do. And then from the team perspective, what we supply to the seller is that, okay, once it's signed, paperwork come to the office, of course, our transaction coordinator take care of that. We have dedicated marketing specialists advertising on all the social medias, and then we have professional photos, and then we have Zillow Showcase. We do all these additional stuff. Of course, our whole team can stand there for open houses. So sign going to be delivered with team runner and lockbox going to be there and the office assistant printing the material. You can see our agent have a lot of support, but anything that other than selling was taken care of by the team. So agent can focus their time working on taking care of the clients. And then of course, on the flip note, the agent also ends up have more time taking care of more clients rather than spend another half hour drive over across town to go put a
Yeah,
sign in the yard.
this is like way over the head of most agents because they normally have their day is all chaotic. I'm handling repairs on one, I've got buyers to go show on the other, and they have all this chaos going on, and there's no system or thing in place that says, no, Tuesday morning we're going to review the last week and we're going to call every seller and tell them what impact and things that have happened. And when things
Yeah.
come up, they're available and they're available for, good quality conversations. I think
Yes,
the way I
it
always
is.
think about this is if you can get yourself hyper focused where your main touch is the thing you make the most money doing, you're going to increase the amount of money you make. You know,
Absolutely.
I can find anybody to go put signs in the yards. I can find anybody to do a lot of the things that we do as agents, and we should be doing customer touch things,
Exactly.
negotiations, interacting with the other opposing agent and having good quality conversations there. That's where we get paid the most money per hour. You make less
Exactly.
money per hour when you're running around doing everything and you're not good to anybody. You're not as
No.
good.
And then you end up frustrated because you feel you're undervalued, right? And
Yeah,
then, but if you're very good, and then we're talking, that's our competitive advantage by being able to, so when we talk to the seller, be able to provide the system. The seller, many times, like last week, we go on listing appointment, three appointment, our seller who couldn't, well, last year, later part of last year was a slow market for a lot of the market, right? So the seller didn't sell their home. And then when we go on there, we show our team system. And then there's lots of seller just very frustrated because once it's listed, they rarely heard anything from this agent. The agent asks them how much they want to list. They end up pick a wrong number to list, and the agent never give them any feedback. Honestly, the agent, if there's themselves, if they're very good, they're showing houses. They don't have time to call for feedback. And if the home is not selling, they don't have the confidence to call back either. So to negotiate price reduction, to talk about price reduction marketing strategy. So if you're specialized, so when I see my team, is that my team is actually a list of specialists. Like we test personality when we hire every member on our
sure.
team. So we know every member on our team if their personality fit the job or not.
I
Like
like that.
my
Yeah.
TC, my assistants, they're high Cs, they're detail-oriented people. They don't want to go out to meet with different people every day. But my outside agent, they don't want to be TC either. They don't want to drive around, put sign in the yard, put lockbox on the door, or modify my flyer, my open house flyer to see if it's right. They want to be able to, okay, I'm going on the market. I review the MLS listing that my assistant put it in already for me. And then all I need to do is to make corrections. And then after that, I can say, okay, I'm going to this thing go on the market. I can expect my professional photo, my professional flyers, my sign and lockbox is already on the kitchen counter, presented very nicely. But I'm not the one delivering that. And then if I have open house, I just expecting to arrive at open house, my Facebook ads already posted everywhere that I expect somebody going to show up at the open house, even though I didn't make the physical posting, right? So it's just, I think our agent are very comfortable and confident, and that make them be able to do a lot of more transactions and then doing the things they actually enjoy doing and then doing the things that their personality fit too. And then frankly, doing the things that's why they get their real estate license for, right? A lot of the people, when they get their, a lot of agents, when they talk to, especially new agent, when they got their real estate license, if you rewind, you think that when you got your real estate license, you thought that I'm going to get my license to sell real estate. But after you get your license, you realize, gosh, less than 10% of my time is actually selling real estate. Majority of my time was running around doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning how to do marketing. I'm learning how to do social media. Learning how to do a flyer. And then maybe I should post some ads. Maybe I should, then later I finally have business. I ends up have to do all kinds of little stuff. Title company called me, said I need to send them another thing. So those are all, I have to order a home warranty. Those are things that on my team, agent don't have to do.
Right.
All agent need to do is to serve the buyer, find buyer house, and then find buyer, find seller or buyer, and then make sure my clients are happy and they got 5-star reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You keep it to a simple point, and they're selling real estate.
yeah,
It's what they got their license to do, and they don't do a lot of things that are not that don't pay well. I'll just say, I
yeah,
mean, I get, but
yeah,
I do want to emphasize one thing. You mentioned there are really good agents that cannot produce because they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. And
exactly.
I think that's a lesson, right, for all of us is if you learn how to have systems and processes, regardless of where you are, if you don't have systems and processes, then it makes your job a lot harder. And the
Absolutely.
client suffers and you get frustrated and you end up selling 30, 40 houses a year when you could be selling 100 houses a year at the same with the same effort.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I love all that. And I appreciate you being transparent with a lot of that information. I covered all the things I think will add value to agents today. And I know we could go on for a lot longer because there's a lot of really
Sure.
fun topics and you're really good at where you've gotten to. I really appreciate you being candid with it.
Thank you.
If you have anything that you want to share or promote, like you have a Facebook page or a book or a podcast or anything else that you have in mind that you can share with agents.
Well, I from that perspective, I do have a Facebook page. I have a business Facebook page, and then if the agent learns something, I also have my Google profile. Agent can go on there, give me some feedback or give me some recommendations. That'll be great. Yes, and then we need to this year and next year from goal perspective, we really need to start doing a little bit better on growing, further implementing the system, growing all our different aspect of the channel for outside.
I love it. I mean, this coming from Gloria Lou. She's got GL International and she sells, hundreds of homes a year. I think if she's saying that she's underperforming, you guys out there may have some work to do yourself. I really appreciate you, Gloria, jumping on and doing this podcast with me. If anyone wants contact with her, we're going to provide that in our YouTube channel. We'll post it below. And any questions or anything you have for Gloria, you're welcome to post there and we'll get connected with her. But for all of you that have enjoyed this interview and you like more information or more podcasts, all I ask is just please subscribe and I'll continue to bring you really good high good quality content just like the interview with Gloria. Everyone have a high performance week. Thank you.
Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of Real Estate Success DFW. I hope you're leaving with new insights that push your real estate career forward. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with fellow agents who's ready to succeed. And if you're interested in working together or have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me directly. My personal phone is 214-228-0388. Let's connect and make real estate success happen together. Until next time, keep pushing forward. I'm Shaune Corbett, and this is the Real Estate Success DFW. Have a high performance week.